Why does a certain thing cost $100 and another one costs $500? How are prices given? Who decides what price is the right price for that product? In this video we are going to understand how prices work in the simplest form. Hey, it's Dario and this is Divity Trading, a platform where we can share our best tips and tools when it comes to trading, investing or finance in general. And if you love the subject, please consider subscribing. When we think about the price of an object, we have to take into account various factors. The most important factor though is the cost of production. Every product on the market that you see has a certain cost of production, and that cost of production is defined by the cost of the basic materials or the workforce. So for example, to build an iPhone there is gonna be a certain price of production. That's because you have to pay the engineer, you have to pay the designer, and you have to pay the basic materials to construct the iPhone. But so to understand how the prices of the common products work, we need to understand how the prices of those basic materials, so the actual materials or the workforce, work. But hey, before we start, if you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like and let me know in the comments down below what is the thing that you understand the less when it comes to economics. You know, we're doing this series to talk about economics and I would like to talk about economics, but if there is something that you really don't understand, please fill the comments down below and let me know. So the main things that define the price of a basic material, including the workforce because they work kind of the same, are the rarity and the demand. So the quantity of the product and the demand. You can also call the quantity of the product supply, but since I'm not a professional, I don't want to use those terms that nobody understands. So let's call it rarity of a product and demand, so the people that want to buy that product, okay? Simple as that. So let's now use a little bit of our logic. If something is rare and there are many people who want to buy it, that product is going to cost more. So let's make a clearer example, okay? We can take for example diamonds. Diamonds are really rare. You cannot find diamonds on the street. You know, there is a certain amount of diamonds in the world. It's not possible to make diamonds very easily, so the rarity is really high for the diamonds. But also, there are many people who want diamonds. Because let's face it, who doesn't like diamonds? So, many people like diamonds and many people would like to buy diamonds, but there are so few diamonds. So the price of a diamond will rise. And actually the price of a diamond is pretty high. And the same thing applies for the workforce. If there are so many engineers in the world, so the rarity of engineers is low, and if there are few people who want engineers, so few companies who want engineers, so at this moment for example engineers are not really required, the price of an engineer will fall. That's simply because there are so many engineers. So if one engineer doesn't accept my paycheck, someone else will accept it. The same thing works for basic materials and workforce. Of course, for the workforce is a little bit different because we can have an engineer who is highly specialized in one sector, but the main concept applies. If there are many engineers specialized in that sector, the price of an engineer will fall. If there are just few engineers really specialized in one sector, the price of that engineer is going to rise. So now, how do we define the price of that iPhone? Well, to define the price of the common product, of the product that every day we can buy, we need to add the cost of production plus the cost for the brand, because every company has a cost just because of the name, and also we have to add the profit of the company, and then we can define a more or less precise price. But even the common products will suffer the rules of economics. They will still be subject to the rarity and the demand. So if there are few sellers, so if there is a high rarity of the product, for example, the iPhones are pretty rare. Yeah, you can make iPhones, but only one company can actually make iPhones. And so we could say that the rarity of iPhones is kind of high, but also we have many people who want iPhones, right? So the price of an iPhone can be higher. So talking again about smartphones, we can go for example to Chinese smartphones. Those smartphones have nothing special, okay? They are not iPhones, they don't have that brand name, so they are common phones, and the rarity of common phones is really low. Everyone can make a phone, right? There are so many companies that make entry-level phones, they don't have anything special, so the rarity of those phones is really low, and also the demand for those phones is low. So if the rarity of those phones is low, that means that there are many phones out there, right? So if we want to use that term that nobody likes, we have a high supply of entry-level phones. On the other hand, we don't have that much buyers because many people want iPhone, they want high-end phones, they don't want entry-level phones, they don't want those Chinese phones. So there are very few buyers, and so the price must be lower. But why this works so well without anyone to touching the prices actually? So really deciding and defining the price of a product and locking the price of a product, such as the government, for example. The government could say, no, you have to pay 10 bucks for that kilogram of flour. But it doesn't work that way. So why does it work in another way? So why the system where the prices are defined on their own works? It's very simple. It's just a little bit of logic. So follow me on this. So let's imagine we have two sellers of a product here, okay? These are two sellers, two separate sellers of the same product. And we have one buyers, okay? So there is high supply, if we want to use that awful term, lower rarity, okay? There is more quantity, and we have few demand, okay? We have few buyers, we have few people that want to buy that product, okay? What happens now? This guy here decides the price. Why is that? Because if this price is too high, this guy is going to go to this seller, and if this seller is too high, the buyer is going to these sellers, and these two sellers are going to be at war because they need to sell the product, and they are going to be at war, and they are going to lower and lower and lower the prices until one of them gets the buyer. It's simple as that. And this scheme works the other way around. Now imagine these two are two buyers and this one is one seller. These two buyers really wanted this product, so they are going to pay higher and higher prices just to get this product. If this guy pays $100, this other guy is going to offer 150. If this guy offers 150, this guy is going to offer 200. When one of these buyers and one sellers makes the offer and accept the price, they are going to exchange the good and the price will be defined. So this is actually a very basic explanation of how prices work, and it works just fine because we can use a little bit of our logic. But hey, this was all I had to say for the movements of prices. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like and let me know in the comments down below what is the thing that you understand the less when it comes to economics. And I'll see you in the next video. So why do we need these pieces of paper? Why do we need money? Why do we use money? You know, many people tend to be afraid of the modern economy and tend to be afraid of money. But to get rid of this fear, we need to understand the money. We need to understand why we use money. And in this video, we are going